Even if you know Jim Farley, it won't matter. We're sold out for at least a year or so, and we stopped taking orders, unfortunately, because we just don't want to, infuriate customers. Take an order and then wait for 2 years, that doesn't make sense.
Well, Ford CEO Jim Farley there speaking to Yahoo Finance's Brian Sozzi earlier this week on the explosive demand the company has seen for the company's electric pickup truck. This comes, though, as Ford is slumping in the session despite beating earnings and revenue expectations. The car maker reporting a massive write-off on the value of its stake in Rivian. Yahoo Finance's Pras Subramanian here with me at the desk. A lot of people focused on that Rivian number, but overall, what do you think is behind the decline in shares today?
I'm a little surprised by that because the actual report itself wasn't too bad. They had a nice they beat handily on revenue, decent adjusted EPS beat. Now that Rivian mark-to-market loss was, I think, a $5.4 billion loss on paper. That gave them a net loss of $3.1 billion for the quarter. But I think it's all on paper. But, they reaffirmed their battery electric vehicle guidance of 600,000 vehicles by 2023. They reaffirmed their adjusted EBIT guidance for the full year. They mentioned that there was some component and chip shortages issues that affected January and February production, but they said that was easing, and they assumed that in the second half of the year, that'll be kind of going away. So altogether, a strong quarter. I want to know two things, though, in the call last night. So two things, right? Jim Farley mentioned that they're talking about vertical integration and materials. And he said, expect some news there. So are they going to make a battery deal? Are they going to actually acquire lithium or something like that? We'll see what happens. He said, expect some news there. And that Rivian investment, they asked him, that 180-day lockup period is approaching. And they said, do you have any color on that and that investment? What are you going to do? And they said, we will not be commenting on a Rivian stake at this moment, like full stop, like very declarative. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's a 13% stake, I believe. So maybe they're thinking about altering that. We don't know, but they were like, we're not commenting on that right now.
The conversation about vertical integration to me is an interesting one because it feels increasingly like that's how car makers need to be set up in order to win the EV race, if there is such thing as a winner, because things are really going to accelerate from here. Good numbers for Ford, but we also did hear about a reduction in headcount.
Yeah, about a 1% reduction in headcount, salaried employees and some agency people that they have working with them. This is more of a restructuring, or as they're calling it, I forget what the word is, but misalignment of resources, right? So Farley talking about how they want to move that Ford Plus plan into the future. That means taking jobs from the old ICE business and putting them into the Model E electric business. And that's great news from Wall Street point of view. But if you're working there, if I'm in the old co, the Ford Blue division versus the Ford Model E division, how do I feel about working there when I see the company shifting resources and the future is going towards EV? It can be kind of maybe not really motivating for you. And I spoke to Carlos Tavares, CEO of Stellantis, about that. And he said, yeah, that's how I think that might be a problem for workers, is you might feel like, am I needed here if I'm going to be in the old co versus the new co business?
Well, that's part of the conversation about retraining workers too, right? To make that transition to renewable, whether that's in the broader energy space or in the auto space.
Yeah, and we see Ford doing that with the Rouge factory. That was an old Model T factory that they've made into an electric vehicle center. So they're doing that, retraining workers, but some people are not going to survive this transformation, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's very much a company still in transition, a sector in transition. Pras, thanks so much for that.